Welcome to your WWE Saturday night's main event preview and predictions. That's right, we are TwitWow, and we have got 5 matches to preview and predict here, everybody. We hope that everyone's looking forward to the show. I'm surprised that they're only doing 5 matches on the show, honestly. I thought it would be a bigger card, but that's the Triple H special. He's been doing it since the NXT TakeOver days, these 5 match cards. He loves to do it. And the only exception is when there's an unsanctioned match that main events over the actual main event. But John, how you feeling about this, man? What's your hype level on Saturday night's main event, December of 2024? And I have to specify what month it is because there's going to be another Saturday night's main event next month.
I know. I saw that too, and I was pleasantly surprised. Um, I gotta say, man, going into this, I'm more hyped. I think even after NQCC's push, I'm more hyped for this than Deadline. This card has looked stacked to me from the jump. Headlined, of course, by Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, which obviously is going to make me feel some type of way. So I think being honest about the booking results we can expect, which we'll get into in a minute, and just the overall card, I think I'm at an 8 out of 10 for this show. I think I'm really hyped. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they changed the world title match for the better because I think the three guys are going to work really well off of each other. Women's United States Championship Finals, judging by the Discord, because I did not watch SmackDown tonight, I'm guessing that it is going to be Michin versus Chelsea, correct?
You are correct.
Yeah, that's the final we wanted. I'm fucking hyped about that. Love KO, even though I can't fucking stand Cody. EO versus Liv should be an underrated fucking banger.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I really have nothing to complain. And Sammy versus Drew. It should be a lot of fun. And I think it's our only non-title match on the card, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think it's great. So what is your hype level, man? Let's get inside your head. I'm at an 8 out of 10. Where are you at?
Well, I'm at a 9, honestly. I am really excited about this show. I think it's really unfortunate that my hopium for Kevin actually beating Cody is at it's running on ink, man. It's damn near empty. It's at pretty much close to zero. It's at like 1 to 2%. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. Because that is the only thing that would get me up to a 10 is if I had even a modicum of hope that Kevin could actually win the match here. I would probably be at a 10 out of 10 hype because Sammy Drew, oh my god, that match is going to be amazing. The world title triple threat, I'm actually super stoked about that because all three of those guys can work. Balor is fantastic. Priest and Gunther, we know have amazing chemistry with each other, and I feel like Balor adds to that match rather than taking away from it. We've had plenty of triple threats where it's felt like a member of it was making it worse rather than making it better. I feel like all three of these guys, it's like they are just all like multiplying. It's like they're exponentially just improving upon it. It's like, like force multipliers. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They all make each other better in some ways. Liv EO, I mean, I think I'm one of the biggest Liv Morgan fans, at least in our community, maybe even in the WWE fandom overall. Well, you know what? I can't say that because I know there are some real psychos on Twitter, but I'm definitely one of the bigger Liv Morgan fans in our little community here. I think she's great, and I know she's really good in the ring, and her getting to work with EO, I mean, that's just going to be fantastic. Meech and Chelsea, though, low key might be the match I'm looking most forward to, and not even because of match quality. Match is going to be great, I'm sure, but just because it's win-win. Either one of them winning, and I'm actually fully expecting. Well, I'm not going to say who I'm expecting yet because that'll be the first match that we do. Actually, no, that won't be the first match we preview predict. It'll probably be second or third because it is a championship match and we have a non-title match on the show. But it doesn't matter who wins. It's win-win. They're both fantastic. They both deserve their flowers, and one of them is going to get their flowers. And they're both going to put on a great match on a proper PLE. This is a proper PLE, right?
Yeah, I think so because it's streaming on Peacock. I don't know if it's on NBC as well,
It
but
is.
yeah.
Oh, it's not a PLE. It's actually on NBC. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So it's considered to be a 2-hour special. So it's not a PLE, but it's going to have a lot of eyes on it. And it's airing on a Saturday, which is also cool. It's the first Saturday night's main event since like 2008, I want to say.
Yeah, it's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. They taped in July of 2008. They taped one that aired on August 2nd of 2008, and that was main evented by Edge versus Jeff Hardy. And this was like a really shitty little like I don't even know if this was a 1 hour. I think it was a 1 hour special. So this was like a really shitty one that they didn't really put that much effort into. This is the first like real meaningful Saturday night's main event in a really long time. Um, let me see if I can even find the last one that was like it probably was the one in '06, right? With Cena and Edge main eventing.
That's did Cena and Edge main event in '06? Because I feel like '06.
Well, there
I
were
thought that
multiple in
was
'06.
like
There were two in '06. There
yeah,
was one that was main evented by Shane and Shawn Michaels, and then there was the second one in '06 was main evented by Cena and Edge.
interesting. Okay, okay.
But still, I mean, that was a WWE Championship match. And Cena did beat Edge there, but it was by DQ, so there was no title change there. But that was the only championship match on that card. This is we've got 4 title matches happening on this show. That's huge.
Yeah,
Saturday
dude,
night,
it's
and that's the thing
nuts.
too, is that like Saturday night's main event, historically, from what I understand, back in the day, wasn't really like pay-per-view level shit. And this feels like it is, and that excites me because I was genuinely concerned at how long of a break they were having in terms of PLEs between Survivor Series War Games and Royal Rumble because that was like a 3 month break basically because there was
Yes.
nothing between the end of November and the beginning of February. I mean, you could call it like a little over a 2 month break, really, because like all of December and all of January without. But now it turns out we're actually getting 3 in that time, with which is basically 2 Saturday Night main events, and they're going to treat the Netflix debut like a PLE.
Oh, that Netflix debut, bro, is gonna be
That's what
huge.
I'm saying. We already I know you didn't watch SmackDown tonight, but as a pretty meaningful update, Roman Reigns effectively challenged Solo Sikoa to a tribal what's it called? Help
Tribal
me out.
Combat?
Yeah, for the Uafala on the Netflix debut.
And I already expect the women's Intercontinental Champion to be crowned on the
Yeah,
Netflix debut.
100% yes.
Yeah, and I heard that now this is still speculative, but Punk and Seth might even happen on the Netflix debut. I know that was posted in Wrestling News today in our Discord. So, yeah, I mean, you got to give Triple H credit for this. He does have faults. I still think one of his glaring faults is his booking of black wrestlers, but he is knowing how to pad out television in between really big shows. And that's very assuring and it's very interesting. So I'm very curious what the Saturday Night's main event is going to look like booking wise.
Yeah.
Much like yourself, what prevents you from being at a 10 for hype? That's why I'm at an 8 because I don't know, just some of the booking decisions I'm like they don't really excite me what I think about long term, but then again, we'll discuss it and I guarantee you after our discussions, I'll probably move up at least a half a point by the time we're done discussing this show. So do you want to get into Sammy Drew?
Let's do it, man. Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that this feud and this program has been booked so far. I love the Drew McIntyre character. Sami Zayn is a fantastic performer, but I'm not the biggest fan of how his character's been written recently, which is something that he has in common with a lot of Bloodline performers right now.
Yes, yes. I just want to personally thank Drew McIntyre for reminding Jimmy Uso that he's nothing more than a dumb bitch for having dreams. Because that's never going to happen.
He really said he was going to go after the WWE Undisputed Championship.
And Drew promptly claymored him in the face, which is what Jimmy deserves for being the inferior twin. This is why you were never the right hand man. This is why you were never anything. Remember your fucking place, you fuck. Anyway,
Oh my
given
god.
that, my heart is always with Drew McIntyre, but I gotta be honest, given the events of SmackDown tonight, because you did share that clip because you know what brings me joy, and I love you for that. I do have to wonder if Jimmy is going to try and cost Drew here. If we're going to get some shenanigans in this match, and that allows Sammy to win. But you know what, man? Honestly, I think I'm still going to go Drew, and here's why. If I'm right about what I just said in their shenanigans, I'm not going to like it because we have to remember that Drew lost at Hell in a Cell in Bad Blood, or at Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to win here right off the bat to get the momentum under his feet again. Plus, Sammy is a perpetual underdog. You know, we
And
expect him to
Sammy is
lose.
also fresh off of a win at War Games.
Exactly. And we always expect Sammy to lose the big singles matches because one day, hopefully, and I do say hopefully because you never know, when he does win the big singles match, the pop is going to be fucking insane. So I'm going 100% Drew McIntyre wins here. How do you feel?
Yeah. I because Jimmy is still limping and he's still hopping around on a crutch, I don't think he's going to show up at all. And based on that, and well, I don't know though, Jay and Seth, there's gonna. I feel like this match might be overbooked. I think this is going to be the most overbooked match on this card, which is kind of funny because it's also the one without any real consequences for who wins because it's non-title. Um, but I don't know. I when it comes to overbooking, you should always bet on the bloodline, right? And the bloodline representative here is effectively Sami Zayn. So yeah, I'm just gonna agree with you and pick Sami.
Well, actually, I picked Drew.
Oh,
I
you
think
picked
I
Drew.
picked,
Okay,
yeah.
no. So yeah, you know what then? I guess we're gonna have our first disagreement in our first match. I am gonna pick Sami Zayn to win because again, when something gets overbooked, you just go with the bloodline, and Sammy's basically with the bloodline still, and Drew fucked with Jimmy Uso, and you know what? Fuck. Now I'm having a change of heart because I'm remembering that Jey Uso had a really important Intercontinental Championship match that he probably should have been able to retain if it wasn't for Temu Bloodline fucking with him. And guess who didn't show up to even attempt to help him? Roman and Jimmy. So why the fuck would Jay attempt to help? And that also is precedent that Roman probably won't attempt to help Sammy either. So fuck it. Yeah, no, you're probably right. Drew is probably going to win here because no one's going to come out to help Sammy because that's just their style. Roman is a selfish piece of shit, and that hasn't changed one bit. And it doesn't seem like anyone seems to see it.
I want to ask you a quick follow up question before we move on to our next matchup because I was thinking about this today, like this whole angle and a potential match that could happen. But I've just been wondering where you could fit that match. And then I thought, oh, maybe you would just want to do it at the next Saturday night's main event. Could you see in the future a tag match where it's like Seth and Drew and KO say versus, we'll say, I don't know, Sammy and Jay and maybe
Punk,
Roman
Punk.
even? Or and Punk. Could you see that tag
I
match
think that
happening?
is definitely down the line somewhere. Yeah, I think that's maybe not Kevin though. See, that's kind of the weird thing for me. I don't know. I kind of think we might just get Drew and Seth as like a weird, like strange bedfellows tag team because they agree so hard on this one thing versus Sammy and Jay.
Okay, interesting.
Because
Okay, okay.
Kevin is on a different brand, and it would be kind of weird to bring him over. Although, I mean, maybe he just loses to Cody here and then uses the transfer portal to come over to Raw. I don't know.
Oh, he wants to beat the shit out of Sammy. When he told Michael, "Trust me, we'll cross that bridge when we come to
Yeah,
it,"
that would make
I'm like,
sense actually. So yeah, maybe we will do. Maybe if that is in our future, if Kevin loses to Cody here and then uses the transfer portal to come over to Raw, I can definitely see that 3-on-3 happening, and it would make sense for the third man on the Sammy J team to beat Punk because he has so much beef with specifically Seth and Drew.
yes. All right, I
And we
guess
know
we can move
Punk's
on.
willing to
Yeah.
compromise his own like personal feelings if it means being able to get his hands on someone that he doesn't like.
Yes, he sucks for sure.
Yeah.
So next matchup you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about next, bud?
I would say, you know what? We already talked about it a lot, and I know that it's going to main event the show, but we just are so low on this. We might as well just get it out of the way. Cody and Kevin. I know that you're super. We're both. I can't just say you. I know that we're both super high on the work Kevin's doing lately, but this feels like a humiliation ritual, low key.
Yeah, like, dude, I have been okay. Let me be crystal clear where I am. It's not that I'm conflicted about the result. I'm sober enough to know that Cody is the guy right now,
Yeah.
and that I think this is his show. Not to mention, I personally, I can't speak for you on this. I fully expect Randy Orton to return on this show. Um,
Yeah, and he's going to be the reason that Kevin loses. He's going to cost him.
and I will have to see it on my own time. Now, I will say, because we're live reacting, I know what's going to happen. I can already see it. Call me Nostradamus. I am going to get fucking worked. Randy's going to show up. I'm going to be apoplectic. Then Cody's going to win, and I'm going to be deflated. So, knowing that, I will say rationally, my prediction is Cody's winning. But emotionally, have I ever rooted for Kevin harder? No, because his work has been fucking brilliant. And Cody I hate him so much. I can't wait for him to drop that fucking title. But I do think the bigger story here is Kevin and Orton kind of settling their stuff. They might even have a match at the next Saturday night's main event because the pay-per-views are so far apart that you can't expect that they're going to drag certain stuff out to pay-per-view. That's why it makes sense, the report that I read, that Rollins and Punk might be doing the Raw Netflix show. Like, that makes sense to me. So Kevin and Randy could be the next Saturday night's main event. Hell, they could
So
be
that's
Raw
January
Netflix.
25th, by the way.
Okay, so that is still like a ways out.
That's
It
like,
could,
I think 6 weeks, I think is the number.
yeah, it could be on a random SmackDown. Like, I'm just saying, these big matches that we're anticipating,
Yeah.
expect them to happen a lot sooner than you might think, just because of the spacing of
The
these shows.
saturation of the pay-per-view level shows that we're getting.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just know that Kevin Orton's going to happen again. Really, what intrigues me with this Kevin character right now is, what is the road to KO Mania going to look like? And to be perfectly honest,
Do you think?
part of wait, what was that?
Do you think he's just gonna have Sammy again at Mania? Like
That is
1v1?
my fear. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is my fear. Is he's just going to
Have
run
they
back?
ever faced 1v1 at Mania before though?
No, I don't think they have. No.
So that would at least be a cool first for them. Like they've fought each other a million times, but never on a stage that big. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool for them. That's true. And for the Kevin and Sammy historians, I'm thinking of Myth GIFs on X. I hope one day they come to Blue Sky so I can follow them again.
Yeah.
They'd be giddy for that. Actually, no. Foster did say they faced off at me. I remember, because isn't that where Logan Paul got stunned by KO? And that was when Logan Paul wasn't even with the company yet. Foster's right. They did face at a Mania. Fuck, because that was when Sammy was the conspiracy theorist. That's right.
Wait, I thought
So
Sami Zayn faced fucking
he
Johnny
did.
Knoxville on that
He
show.
did. But he had that conspiracy theorist gimmick for a while, though, bro. I think that lasted 2 Manias, because I think the Mania prior to that, he faced Kevin. Foster's right. I remember now what he's talking about. So, yeah, actually, they have faced in a Mania, but this at least would be
Oh
different because,
shit!
yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn. Yeah, because it was a feud with Kevin that sparked the conspiracy theorist shit in the first place.
right. So then, yeah. Oh, that's right. Because I think the gimmick before the conspiracy theorist was that Sammy just thought like he was so intelligent and he was one of the smartest guys in WWE. Master strategist was what was the gimmick. Yeah, master strategist. Um, so yeah, this time Sammy would very clearly be the baby face. So I guess that would be a bit different. But yeah, I just worry that it's going to be Sammy again for KO Mania. And I'm so tired because I just want the guy to be world champion again. But I need to start accepting that's probably never going to happen. But hopefully it's a decent match. Cody gets to be masturbatory and be like, oh my God, I saved wrestling. I'm so great. And it's going to be fucking insufferable. But hopefully Kevin can bring a good match out of him, especially with the work that he's doing. Cody Rhodes to win. You pretty much agree, right?
100% yes.
Unfortunately. So let's just move on to matches that we could be happier about, even if we are in agreement. So what do you want to talk about next?
You know what? We'll save the world title for last. Let's talk about Liv Io.
Bro, I feel like this match was made for you.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for you that you get this match because you're like the biggest Io Sky fan that I know. And I know you were one of the first people to go to bat for Liv with the heel gimmick. Like even I was a late adopter because I love Liv as a babyface. But you, I feel like almost immediately were vibing with her heel work. Here's the good news for Io fans, you included. My personal opinion, Io is losing here,
Yeah.
but after that stare down she had with Rhea over the title, if that's not a Mania poster, I don't know what is. Io is currently my favorite to win Women's Rumble next year.
I would
But,
absolutely love that. That would make my, well, I won't say year, but that would definitely make me happy a lot.
so I will say, if I'm being perfectly honest, Io loses here, but
Yeah.
she's my front runner to win Women's Rumble 2025 to go on to face Rhea Ripley for the title at Mania. So
So you've got
Io's getting ready
Rhea
to cook again.
beating Liv within the next like 2-3 months or so, and then defending against Io at Mania.
Yeah, absolutely. And Angel just joined us. He said, I love Liv too much, John. She's my favorite. Actually, yeah, I forgot that you were so high on her, bro. That's really cool, too. But yeah, I think Liv keeps the title for a little longer. I don't know when Rhea gets to rematch again. That could be another Raw Netflix match.
I could
For all we
actually
know.
see what Alex Foster in our chat just said happening, which is that Rhea wins the Rumble. They drag this thing out till Mania, and they have Rhea win the title back at Mania finally.
See, it's not that I don't see it. It's just a question of can they sustain it? Because that's a
Does it
long
really
trek
matter
still.
if they can sustain it though? Like if people lose interest over the course of like the build to the match, it's not going to matter as soon as Rhea wins the title. Like that's the pop.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Hmm. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
think the
stick with
main thing for me is they need to stop revolving it around Dom.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and I think too, Raquel, like, she had a decent match with
She's
Rhea, but
such a lame duck, dude.
dude, I know. I I guess for me, and it's funny because like I'm not the EO stand between the two of us, but I do like the idea that EO could be cooking again. Because here's the thing: if EO's not doing this, then my secondary prediction would be her versus Lyra for the Intercontinental title at Mania, and really give us a workhorse match at Mania for that Women's Intercontinental title. But Lyra would have to win the damn thing first, and I don't know how the tournament's going to go because Dakota could be the first champion. So there are a lot of variables. So to me, I just want to cut through the bullshit, and I think what is the simplest and like most pop-worthy path for EO and a Mania. And to me, it's just her versus Rhea for the title. I think that is fucking money. So I'm sticking with it. But for that to happen, EO's got to lose here. So I am going Liv to retain. I want your full thoughts on this match now. Where is your head at?
I do think that Liv is definitely going to retain here.
Yeah.
Um, so hang on a second. There's tomato stuck on the roof of my mouth. I apologize.
It's all right. I've had that happen.
It sucks.
Really, I should say I've just had food stuff interrupt my speech rhythm. So I don't blame you.
God damn it! I can't get. This is driving me fucking nuts. Okay, fuck it. Anyway, I do think Liv is going to retain. Whatever. Here's my thing. They've spent too much time building this Liv Rhea shit to just pivot at the last second and be like, haha, never mind, we're going to do Rhea against someone else at Mania. So I do fully buy into Alex Foster's theory that Rhea wins the Rumble, beats Liv for the title at Mania. Fully bought into that.
All right.
My alternate timeline for EO, from what you've been proposing, is literally just Sky Pirates for tag titles.
I like that idea too because I miss Kyrie having gold too. So I'm like, get her in on that. Imagine we have damage control with the tag titles and the women's intercontinental title. That's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Because another thing that I'm really hoping we get is Asuka return at the Rumble.
Oh, dude, I miss Asuka. That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, and like, here's my thing. You mentioned like potential EO Lyra Mania Intercontinental title. I'm gonna just say it right now. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. We should really lower expectations about women's mid-card titles being on Mania at all.
That is fair. That is fair. Yeah. Okay.
But I will also say, I think that because Asuka is someone that has literally done everything, winning those mid card titles would be a really cool thing for her to go after. So, unless her return is like a cue for like the reunion of the Kabuki Warriors, and then Io is out on her own and she can go after a mid card title, I think Sky Pirates becoming tag champs and then Asuka coming back without anything to do would be a really cool opportunity for Asuka to go after the women's intercontinental title, assuming Dakota doesn't have it already, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I would love it if Dakota would win it and be the inaugural champ. But then again, there's also an opportunity where maybe Dakota wins it and is the inaugural champ. And then, say, Roxanne Perez loses the NXT Women's Championship to Julia on New Year's Evil, gets a Royal Rumble call up, beats Dakota Kai for the Intercontinental title before Mania, and then boom, we could have Roxanne Perez versus Asuka for the Women's Intercontinental title at some time over the next few PLEs. Maybe not on Mania, but maybe Backlash or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Krieger off camera is telling me to stop because you can only get so erect. I mean,
Yeah,
that sounds fucking amazing to me.
yeah, that's the kind
Yeah.
of stuff that I get excited about. Get excited, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely hoping that we get Asuka back sooner than later. I would love to see a Rumble return. Roxanne dropping her title to Julia and then making a big main roster debut at the Rumble would be cool. I personally expect Roxanne's main roster, like proper, like full time debut, to be the draft post Mania.
Yes.
We'll see. I think she should be a first round pick, like what Mello was this year.
Agreed. Agreed. I
Yeah,
thought you took the words right out of my brain for sure. Yeah.
yeah. But as far as this match, I do think Liv retains. I do definitely think I could see them keeping the title on her all the way up till Mania, and then just have Rhea win the Rumble and beat her for the title at Mania. Because Rhea has been put through. She's been made to jump through too many fucking hoops at this point to not pull the trigger at that point. And if they want to pull the trigger earlier, I would be pleasantly surprised. But WWE loves to drag this kind of shit out and pay it off in the biggest way possible a lot of the time, especially now under Triple H. If it was Vince still, I think I would be more on your side and be like, yeah, Rhea's winning the title before Mania and they're going to pivot to a better worker and have Rhea just tear the house down at Mania and retain the title at Mania. But because it's Triple H, I think it's more likely to get dragged out all the way to Mania.
I'll make you a deal. Because I can definitely see your logic. If we don't get Liv versus Rhea at the Netflix Raw, and B, if we do get that match but Rhea loses, I will come over to your side and I will say Rhea's probably winning the title, especially if she loses because of some foul bullshit, which it's Judgment Day, so that's practically guaranteed. If that happens, I definitely would then, I think, be forced to agree with you and say, yeah, they're setting her up for a Rumble win and just a redemptive match against Liv at Mania. Because here's the thing, I think before Rhea got injured initially, that was probably the plan for Liv, was to, have her babyface chase almost like she was Daniel Bryan, Rhea all fucking year. And this was probably supposed to be Liv's spot at Mania next year as a babyface, but Rhea being injured changed everything. So I can see where you and Foster are coming from for sure. I just want to see how Raw Netflix plays out
And that's
first.
the big thing, right? Because they have every opportunity in the world to use that Raw Netflix debut to put on a major title change like Rhea beating Liv for the title. They could absolutely pull the trigger on that. And that would, you're right, that would change everything. If they would do that, Liv or Io would definitely be at the top of my list to win the Rumble. I would absolutely be all for that. I
Yeah,
don't know if she'd be by herself at the top of that list, but she would definitely be at the top of
yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. I really appreciated this discussion. I have nothing new to say unless you do. I think we can move on to our next matchup here.
it. Our next matchup, which is going to be the Women's United States Championship Tournament Finals to crown the inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion, Michin versus Chelsea Green.
I'll take the lead on this one, and I'll say, first of all, you cannot go wrong here. Uh,
Exactly. This is such a win-win.
I think both women are stupendous. I think both women have worked their asses off, and both women would be an honor for us to see them as the first ever women's United States champion. However, because there was a but coming up to this, the way I look at it personally, I'm thinking even though you can't go wrong, and Meechin's a fucking sweetheart and a quality fucking worker, what do you get the most mileage out of here? Now, here is my mindset about it. If a championship is a prop, right? If it's just another prop in the grand theater of pro wrestling, I put that title on fucking Chelsea. I have Piper grow jealous. I have Piper beat the fucking shit out of Chelsea at some point. You can, pick an arbitrary date,
Can I
whatever.
cut in
I
here
don't
real
care.
quick, actually?
Okay, but I got to hang on to my train of thought then. So cut in real quick.
Okay, you finish your thought and then because I'm going to retain mine, so you go.
Okay, so yeah, I just want to say she beats the crap out of Chelsea at some point, and maybe even beats Chelsea for that title. But in the process, I think Chelsea becomes one of the top baby faces in the fucking division. The crowds are loving her; they're starting to pop more for her, and I think with this championship as a prop, you get more mileage putting it on Chelsea because I could see that being a vehicle to tear apart a friendship that in the long term gets Chelsea mega over as a babyface with people. So because of that logic, I'm just picking Chelsea to win. But what did you want to cut in with?
I'm scared that everything you just described is the exact push they're going to give to Tiffany.
With Nia, you mean?
Yeah.
And you probably aren't wrong. You probably aren't wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they literally on tonight's episode of SmackDown, they did another backstage angle, and you probably don't know about this. Candice LeRae spoke to I almost said Adam Pierce, Nick Aldis, and got her and Nia a tag title match next week.
oh wow.
And she
Okay.
was really catty towards Tiffany about it because Tiffany and Nia were both there, and Candice came up and she was like, "Nia, I did this thing," and then like because Tiffany lost to Michin earlier in the night,
Right.
and Candice did this whole thing where she was like, "Since Tiffany, couldn't get the job done," kind of thing. I got us a tag title match against Bianca and Naomi next week because Naomi took Jade's place because all this was threatening to strip Bianca and Jade of the titles because Jade is going to be out for, I guess, long enough that they wouldn't be able to defend them. Naomi stepped up to the plate to defend the titles with Bianca. And then Candice, I guess, went into Aldis's office and was like, hey, give us a shot. So now Candice and Nia are going to go after the tag titles and probably win them, if I had to guess, next Friday. But so she was really catty towards Tiffany. So they're clearly building towards Tiffany having resentment towards Candice and then by extension Nia.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if I like that just because of how I feel about Tiffany, but
Dude, Candice was fucking hilarious in this segment, honestly. She even, like, after Nia left, she went up to Tiffany and she was like, sorry, Tiffany, I guess that singles wrestling just isn't your speed.
oh, oh, cutting, madam, cutting. Uh, but okay, see, because I thought you were gonna cut in originally to be like, you don't see the logic in that. And I'm like, well, let me just finish the picture first. But like, getting back to the United States Championship picture, do you see the logic of what I'm saying here, or do you just fundamentally disagree?
Here's the thing. I I see the vision, but I don't think it's going to happen. Like I definitely would be along the ride for sure. I'd be there every step of the way if they would do that. I just think the odds are really low of them doing that because they're not going to give the same type of push to Chelsea and Tiffany at the same time.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's why I wanted to cut in. I was about to be like, dude, you're describing the push that they're about to give Tiffany. They're not going to do that to Chelsea too.
Yeah, I don't know, but see, Tiffany has that Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm still wondering how she's going to use it. Even though cashing in on Nia does seem like the way to go.
I'm
Even though
starting
the
to wonder if she's going to end up cashing in on Charlotte because we keep hearing that Charlotte's going to show up on Saturday night's main event tomorrow. You know how Charlotte is. She's going to show up, immediately get gifted a title shot at Nia, probably beat her, then get cashed in on by Tiffany. And that's going to be like +1 in her little fucking column where she's keeping track of how many title reigns she has because that's all she gives a shit about because she's a Flair and it's going to get the title on Tiffany without her even needing to actually betray Nia, so that it leads to Nia betraying her instead.
and then I just want to see. See, here's the thing. We had a conversation. Let's just back up just a bit, right, so that we can get a broader view here. Because you and I, before this, we had a very substantive conversation about the Raw Women's Championship picture and the possibilities for Mania. And to me, the possibilities are binary. It's either going to be Rhea versus Io or Rhea versus Liv. To me, the SmackDown Women's Championship picture, that is more complicated to me because are you going to do Tiffany Nia? Are you going to do Tiffany Charlotte? Are you going to have, because here's another thing too, dude, and I was thinking about this a few days ago. We have not had yet a woman cash in at WrestleMania. We've had men do it, and mainly Seth was like the historic one,
Yeah.
but we have not had a woman cash in at fucking WrestleMania yet. So could that even happen?
Dude,
It,
I can envision it right now. The match on the card is Nia versus Charlotte. Charlotte probably goes in as champion. I'm just going to say that right now. I think she's beating Nia for the title before Mania. So I could see them go into it with Nia versus Charlotte, Queen versus Queen, because remember Nia won Queen of the Ring. They're not
yeah,
going to be able to resist that advertising cliche, Queen versus Queen.
yeah.
And right as Nia, or well, I don't know. Maybe it would be more effective if they had it be right as Charlotte is about to beat Nia. Maybe she hits the moonsault. You hear, "It's Tiffy time" over the loudspeaker, and it breaks up the pin.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Yeah.
she comes out, cashes in, and we have a fucking triple threat. Maybe she even pins Nia to win the title, but she protected Nia from getting pinned by Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Hmm. Because I could see that. I've been thinking again that we haven't had a women's cash in at Mania yet. You have to
And they would
imagine they're going to want to do that
absolutely
one.
save that for someone like Tiffany, too, because that's right up their alley.
100%.
And again, like, I can't emphasize this enough. The Tiffany Stratton character is S tier in pro wrestling. She's fucking incredible. Like, this is a character that is a main eventer. My big gripe is that the performer is just a piece of shit.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the other
Um.
problem too, is that the performer's genuinely talented too. That's like what sucks even more, is that they're like an AJ Styles type, where like they're really fucking good at this, at least in some ways, but they're just and they're way worse of a person than AJ Styles from what I understand. Like full blown like Trumpist, MAGA, fucking racist, all this garbage. I don't know if AJ Styles checks all those check marks,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, like I just that's the gripe with Tiffany for me, is that like they have this incredible character, this incredible presentation, this like they figured out an amazing 21st century gimmick, and they give it to a fucking awful person
Yeah.
because she's talented. And like, I get the talented part, that's cool, but like, god damn it.
Yeah. No, I personally, it seems like, this isn't necessarily a good thing because you notice, even though the Raw path seems a bit more determined, I like the Raw path regardless. The SmackDown path seems more open, but that doesn't necessarily mean qualitatively better options because it's guaranteed either Charlotte or Tiffany or Nia is going to be involved, and that does nothing for me, honestly. So yeah. Don't know, but I think in
Yeah.
the moment, what match were we even? Oh yeah, no, we're still talking about women's United States Championship. So where are you going with that match, Chelsea versus
No,
Beaching,
I
to
I
bring it?
do genuinely think Chelsea's gonna win. I just don't think Piper's gonna turn on her or anything. I just think that like, while they are pairing, some other over babyface is gonna beat her, and they're gonna use Chelsea, who's awesome and over as a heel, to put over a babyface. That's all I really think is gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. All right. Um, do we only have the world title match left now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. It's Priest versus Gunther versus Balor. So what do we
Yep.
think about this triple threat, man?
Um, I want your opinion first.
Oh, geez. Okay. Dude, it's so funny because, like, I'm a big Finn Balor fan, but much like Kevin Owens, I don't see Balor winning the title here. Um, but but then again, I don't necessarily see Priest winning it either because it's very clear that they're kind of doing their own thing and they don't need the title for that. So I think I'm just going to be very straightforward that no need to overthink it. I think Gunther retains and he pins Balor doing so. So where is your head at?
Yeah, that makes sense. It gives Priest an out to be like, you didn't beat me, you beat that guy. He cost me the title a third time in a row by losing to you in a match that I was still in. And then it kind of makes it clear that Damian has to settle shit with Finn before he can go back after the world title. So then it would lead into Priest versus Balor pretty much more like explicitly and directly, rather than Priest trying to feud with the world championship with Balor at his fucking ankles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun triple threat. I will say that. I'm really psyched. I think between the two world title matches, just because I hate Cody so fucking much, this is probably gonna be the better world title match between the two. Because I like all three guys in this, and that helps a shit ton. Yeah, I just think Gunther wins, but I'll tell you the writing of the Gunther character, like I don't know. I really don't know what his mania looks like. I'm even starting to wonder because, bro,
Dude,
like,
I've been saying this for months at this point. Cena.
yeah, that's true. You have been saying that. You have been saying that. I think both publicly and in our Discord, you have been adamant about that. That's very true.
Cena is going to be in the final four of the Rumble and lose. and then he's going to win an elimination chamber for contendership to, or he might just win the world title in the chamber if it's on the line. But he is going to win an elimination chamber to make damn sure that he is in a match at Mania for that world title, whether he goes in as the champion or the challenger. Either way, Cena's going to win an elimination chamber to get into that thing.
Yeah. All right. I'm almost tempted to sign on with you. I think before they started to do this stuff with Gunther, like, is he slipping? Is he no longer the ring general? Like, I would have heartily co-signed with you. Now I'm starting to have doubts because they're trying to give him a more in-depth character, which I encourage for most performers, but he might actually be the exception. I don't think it's that hard. You make him an obstacle, you make him prestigious to see, so you don't trot him out on every show. And yeah, you do your stories in there. You pretty much, again, I think we've wanted for years, like a main roster Brock Lesnar that gets Brock Lesnar treatment, and that just they just haven't listened. They'll have another chance to do it with Obafemi, and they're probably not going to listen then either. But yeah, I don't know, but I do think Gunther retains, and then Priest and Balor, yeah, they gotta settle their shit. And honestly, when we think about Mania, because we really should start thinking about it soon, I could almost see a Finn Dom feud, as much as weird as it is to say, coming because
Overlive?
well, over, and maybe even over control of Judgment Day because Finn just keeps needling Dom, man. Like, and it's funny because Dom's such a little shit, but I wonder if Triple H is drunk on his own supply and he's like, huh, I could get Dominic Mysterio over. I can get him as a babyface. We just need Finn to kind of bully him. But I don't know if it's going to work the way he wants it to because right now, Finn is clearly the heel to me when it comes to their interpersonal dynamic. Like, obviously, Dom is still a heel overall, but when it comes to his relationship with Balor, like Balor is the aggressor. He is the kind of the egger, kind of the guy that's like, oh hey, hey Dom, did you watch me? That's how you do it, kid. Hey Dom, why'd you get a title shot? You did nothing to deserve it. That's my title shot. Like constant pod shots, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe they'll find a way to turn Balor face over this. I don't know, but I definitely feel like post world title, he's gonna do stuff with Priest, but then the stuff with Priest is also gonna feed the stuff he's gonna do down the road with Dom. So I think the rest of Balor's year and the start of his 2025 is fucking set as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, should be interesting.
Yep.
All
That
right.
that pretty much covers it, I think, right? And by the way, yeah, no, Super Blue. This match is not main eventing the show. Kevin Cody definitely is, but we wanted to talk about the matches in order as far as how much we cared about them, and you know, Cody Kevin. As much as we love Kevin, we just don't expect that to be even really close. Like
If he wins, I will cry. I will cry on air.
I
Tears of fucking
will
joy.
hug you virtually.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna group hug virtually. Are you fucking? I'm gonna stretch my arms. I'm gonna pull Sean into it. I'm gonna pull Foster into it. Javaris. I'm hugging fucking everybody if Kevin pulls this shit off. And if Randy knows what's good for him and that paper thin fucking neck, he'll mind his own fucking business and stay home. But yeah, I'm not expecting it to go well. I will say though, the conversations that got me the most excited, believe it or not, were about the women, particularly on the Raw side and the US championship
This really
picture.
feels like the beginning of Mania season, and that's always when we have our most spirited discussions.
Definitely, well, because we just are trying to figure out what the fuck is the roadmap pointing to.
Passion for
It,
possibility, baby.
absolutely, and only to be disappointed by reality every fucking year. Yeah, that was the appropriate response. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. But I do definitely appreciate your pragmatism. I will say after our conversations, I think I'm up there with a 9, mainly again about the women. I think the women are going to kill it again. I think the women in WWE specifically, they are really like, I sometimes I kind of roll my eyes when NXT is like, oh, we have the best women's division. But when you look at the women's roster in WWE as a whole, they might finally be in a place for the first time ever, maybe, where it's like, yeah, we genuinely have the best women's wrestling and the best women's roster. Because I like Monty Gold,
Yeah.
but we're still waiting for
Well,
them to pat it out.
I mean, Monty Gold's biggest weak point is its roster. It's very shallow.
Exactly. Stardom, I mean, they've got heavy hitters, but we haven't cared for the booking.
Right.
WWE might be, and the knockouts is debatable. I don't watch that enough to make a qualified
Dude,
statement,
I
right?
I appreciate you trying to be like charitable to TNA. It's not debatable. The knockouts are a solid division, but they don't hold a candle to even Stardom's roster, much less better rosters than them.
think WWE is just in the best place they've
I mean,
ever been in with women's wrestling relative to
here's the
everybody
thing,
else.
dude. If you consider the fact that NXT is a feeder system of the main roster and you group all of that together, it's no contest.
I agree. No, like really thinking about it. I agree, and it just kind of astounds me
Yeah.
because like I've like this is
Like,
obviously hyperbole because it was probably inevitable even from a probability standpoint.
yeah.
But there was a part of me that just thought it was never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because if you just go outside your window and you go to Japan and stuff, but even when you look at the Japanese scene, it's like
Dude, yeah.
no,
Because,
yeah,
well, but that's the thing, right? If you think about, like, okay, who's the best overall female performer in all of pro wrestling? The first name that comes to mind is Rhea Ripley immediately.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely,
Okay, well, so let's zoom in a little bit more. Who's the best in ring worker among women's wrestlers? Io, right?
yeah,
Okay, well, so let's be a little more specific. Who is the best non-Joshi in ring worker among women's wrestlers? Fucking Roxanne Perez, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they just had every, like, if you asked me to make a list of the top 20 best women's wrestlers in the world right now, at least 10 of them would be under the WWE umbrella, I think.
I don't know if they have ever been so strong, like
I
on
don't
that
think they
front.
have. Because here's the thing, even in the peak of women's evolution, there were only ever like 7 or 8 women in that era that could really fucking go on a level that today's women are going.
Yeah, dude. I never really because we've
I
talked
mean,
about
even
it and
then, only
yeah.
3 of the 4 horsewomen could go on that.
Yeah, dude, like it's crazy to me because like obviously we've given praise to the women's division like routinely with most WWE programming, but I never really sat until now with you and really thought is this the best they've ever been like on that front? And yeah, historically it just is.
I
It
mean, dude,
just fucking is.
I have a
Like
I have a fantastic fucking litmus test here for us. Are you ready for this?
sure, yeah.
Our Discord's fantasy wrestling drafts.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
The
Yeah.
last one that we did, all right.
Yeah.
Mina Shirakawa did go first overall, and personally, I think that's a questionable decision, but I can see the appeal. I kind of get it. Then
Yeah.
Zarya went second overall. Then we had Julia. Then, of course, we know that Gala loves to pick her Joshis that she has personal connections to. She took Yuki Kamifuku out of TJPW, and then Tam, right? Tam, I think, belongs in the top 20, regardless of how we feel personally about her, right?
I would agree begrudgingly, but yes.
So far,
Yes.
though, we're at 2 out of 5, right? With Zarya and Julia being under the WWE umbrella.
Yes.
Then it goes Mariah May at 6, right? So that's
Yes.
2 out of 6. But then listen to this: Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Lash Legend, Rhea Ripley, Jada Parker.
Oh, and Jada. Oh
Dude,
my god, dude, Jada.
I mean,
Oh
that's
my
another one. Like, if
god.
we having the conversation we were earlier about, like, oh, who's the best in ring worker? Okay, who's the best mic worker among all women's wrestlers right now? I don't think anyone has a fucking candle to hold to Jada Parker.
With the way she's trending. Uh-uh.
Right.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
that's 5 straight. So we just went from 2 in 6 to now 7 in 11, right?
Yeah.
Then the next pick was Mercedes. So we're at 7 out of 12. Then Utami and Hazuki. So we're at 7 out of 14. Then Kyrie. So now we're at 8 out of 13 or out of 15, right?
Yeah.
Then Jordan Grace. So we're at 8 out of 16. Then Naomi. So we're at 9 out of 17. Then Mayu. So we're at 9 out of 18. Then Roxanne Perez. So we're at we're already at 10 right there. And then just to put the icing on the cake, Chelsea Green was the 20th woman taken. So 11 out of 20 of the first 20 women taken in our fantasy wrestling draft were under the WWE umbrella. And here's the thing: Jordan Grace was in that group. She's going to be under the umbrella within the next month and a half.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
Jordan
my.
is her TNA contract runs out in January. She's gonna probably be in the Rumble.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah. So that's 12.
Holy
That's basically
shit.
12. 12 out of top 20 women in terms of our Discord's draft. I mean, it's a very loose test, but it's a vibe check, and the vibes are pointing in their direction. It's incredible.
And bro, here's the crazy thing for WWE long term when you have a system like this and you have a roster like this. it's going to be a magnet to other women. Like we've already heard women in Money Gold be like, "Oh, I'd like to wrestle in WWE one day." I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I don't think she'd have the success of a Julia or an Asuka per se, but I wouldn't be surprised if Utami wanted a WWE run. Not at all.
Yeah.
The only
Dude, I think we
person,
already know that she does, don't we?
yeah, I
Hasn't
think
she
she,
already said that she does in an interview before?
I think she has made mention, yeah, that she would like to compete in WWE. The only woman, oddly enough, that I could see never really stepping foot in a WWE ring would be Mayu, and even then,
No,
like,
yeah, Mayu's never going to. She's super fucking loyal. Although,
I've,
who is she
I've
loyal
learned.
to though? Is she loyal to the Stardom banner or is she loyal to Rossi? Because I think it's Rossi.
Well, because here's the thing, Rossi's already kind of buddied up with Triple H a little bit, so
That's true.
like,
That's true. So
I,
even if she never signs a WWE contract, she might still end up showing up on a WWE show at one point as some kind of like Marigold talent sharing thing because they just want to get their hands on her and she just won't sign the deal. So they're like, fine, fuck it. Be on this show to lose to our champion and we'll pay you X amount of dollars. And she's like, Rossi, do I have to? And he's like, I would really encourage it. And she's like, fine.
But here's the thing too, like not to be that guy, but honestly, I've just stopped saying never in this business with some very rare instances because I mean I used to say never about CM Punk coming back to the company after all the shit he fucking talked.
Yeah.
I said never about no, Del Rio wouldn't capitulate to racism.
Ugh.
Like I'm tired of being wrong. So I'm leaving the door open. If Mayu wants to be in a women's rumble one year, I'll fucking pop. Fuck it. I want borderless fucking wrestling anyway. Everybody should come and go wherever they damn well please. It's why I love that Tavion was in the fucking N1 this year. Like, wrestling without borders is wrestling where everyone literally fucking wins. So, yeah, have at it. Now, does it kind of terrify me, Loki, that WWE might have built themselves a magnet for the best women's talent on the fucking planet? Of course it does, because monopolies always have a downside. Always. But I can't lie, it has a lot of scintillating match possibilities. Like, gee, when you add Jordan Grace to the fucking mix, bro, I mean, her and Zarya as a tag team and then her and Zarya as opponents alone. What the fuck? So, yeah, the women are going to be the standout again in 2025. And now that they've got mid card titles, maybe they will treat them with more respect than we think, bro, because you have the loaded roster to do it. There is no excuse not to put on bangers for those fucking titles. I'm very excited to see what their booking will be like. But to bring it back to Saturday night's main event, we've predicted the card. I think
Yep.
I'm at an 8.5 to even a 9 just because of thinking about the women and their road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. So
Dude,
I
it's
have
funny
nothing.
that
Yeah.
thinking about this card has got me that much more excited about the Rumble in fucking February. The Rumble's in February, dude. What are we? And the crazy thing is, the Rumble is exactly 1 week to the day after the next Saturday night's main event. So we've got another one of these fucking things before the Rumble still. And we've got the Netflix thing. Like a lot's gonna happen before the Rumble still. But like my excitement for the Rumble is ramping up way too early.
Dude, I get it though. I get it though. Um, and yeah, I mean that's it. So thank you guys for joining us, and I'll hand it over to my core and commentary here to take us home. So partner, it's all you, bud.
All right, everyone. We hope you enjoyed. Remember to leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click the bell icon to get notified when we go live. Make sure to check out the description. We've got a bunch of links down there. You know what? I think I have to update our description actually. Yeah, I still have our X accounts on there. I'm gonna update those with our Blue Skies now. But yeah, follow us on Blue Sky. Follow us on Twitch. Be sure if you want just more of us, and the amount of content that we put out just isn't enough of us for you. You can subscribe to our Patreon too. You can go donate to our Patreon. All it takes is $3 a month, and you get access to our Discord, which we are both in relatively often. At least me, I am. I'm in it very often. John's in it somewhat often, and you'll be able to get more access to our faces. So it's probably worth it. I think you can ask any of our current subscribers, any of our current patrons, and most, if not all of them, would agree that it is a worthwhile value for your money. So check that out. We will be back here tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. to do week in review. That's pretty much just going to be talking about NXT though, because I mean we might have a little bit of AEW stuff to talk about, but not much. And all of the main WWE stuff this week we already pretty much talked about here, and we're going to be reacting to Saturday night's main event then when that happens tomorrow evening, or tomorrow night, I guess I should say, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So we hope to see you all there. In order for that to happen, though, you're going to have to remember to stay tuned.